from my mini farm. My name is Pam and I work at the North Valleys Library. And we're going to check out what's going on in my yard and who's living there and what is growing. First, I'd like to introduce you to my chickens. And in order to get them over, I'm going to throw a little scratch that I have here with some mealyworms in it. So you can see that as soon as I throw it out there, they love this stuff. They're going to come right over. So my chickens, I have 4, are Gaba Gaba Hay, and this is Coco Vin, and this is Rocket, and over here is the ever lovely Caboose. So my chickens are a couple of different varieties. A Gaba Gaba Hay is a Turkin or no-neck or Transylvanian no-neck, and they originated in Transylvania, which is in Romania, and were actually developed in Germany. So they're a lovely breed. She's super docile, and she lays these beautiful, like, creamy tan eggs. They're really quite lovely. And then the other chickens are Americanas, and they lay these blue-green eggs, and they are developed from a breed called an Araucana, which is from Chile, but these birds were developed in the United States and America. And they have a variety of colors, both the Turkin and the Americana. The Turkin has 6 different colors, so they can go all the way from black to white. Same thing with the Americanas. The Americanas, though, have 8 different colors. Gaba Gaba Hay is 4 years old, and she lays about 100 eggs a year. And the Americanas are different ages. So the one over here in the center is Coco Vin, and she's 3, and the other 2 are 1. And so as you can tell, if I move my hand really quickly, they are pretty skitterish. That's just their prey instinct, so that if they somebody from above, like a hawk or something, saw them, they would go still or move out into shrubbery to get away from whatever predator might be out for them. So my chickens are, they have a coop and a run, but they spend most of their day wandering my backyard, eating scratch when I throw it out for them and mealyworms, and also eating plants and insects in the yard. So it's really good for the yard because they obviously poop and make manure, and that's great for my garden, but they also eat all the insects that might be eating my plants too. So when I pick chickens out, I pick out chickens that are docile. For the most part, I really go for their temperament. I don't want an aggressive chicken or a nasty chicken. So I like a breed that's sweet and docile, and most of my chickens are. And then I also like a breed that is cold hardy for our climate, because we live here in northern Nevada, and in northern Nevada, it can be very hot in the summertime and very cold in the wintertime and lots of snow. And so all of my chickens are cold hardy as well. So chickens are omnivores. They basically eat anything and everything, but one of their favorite treats I have here is, besides the mealyworms and the scratch, is the watermelon. So they love watermelon, and they'll just eat it all the way down to the rind. Usually I don't feed them the whole watermelon. I eat some of it first, but today I'm just gonna show you how crazy they get for watermelon. They'll come right over because they see it. Gaba Gaba Hay, Gaba Gaba Hay. Come here, girl. There you go. So they'll come right over and they'll just sit and eat that until it's all gone. They absolutely love watermelon. It's like their most favorite treat ever. It's sweet, and yet it's got water in it, which they need, of course. like all animals, and they just love it. Well, let's head out front and see what's happening in my front yard. This is my berry patch where I have raspberries and a couple of different kinds of blackberries growing. Here we have some blackberry blossoms that are coming in, and those should bloom, and I should have blackberries by the end of June. Over here I have new raised beds, and in the first box I have different types of greens or lettuces growing alongside some more lettuces and radishes and zucchinis that I started from seeds. In this box I have some peas and cauliflower that I planted, along with some pumpkins, carrots, and more peas that I started from seed. You can see these peas are growing. As soon as they get a little bit bigger, I'll put a little bit of a trellis or some netting at the back of the box for them to grow onto. Also in the foreground, you can barely see them. I'll point them out. Right here are some tiny carrots that are coming up. In the last box, I planted some tomato plants and a cucumber plant, and then I started bush beans, which are in the far back, as well as some more cucumbers in the center. I currently have the tomato cages up, but I probably will build a hoop and put some pig wire over the top for all of the climbing cucumbers, as well as the tomatoes, which need support. On this side of the yard, I have some grapes growing on this trellis over here. There's two different varieties. One is a Concord and the other is a champagne grape that I use for eating. The Concord I usually just make jellies and jams out of. Next to the grapes, I have some rhubarb growing, and rhubarb is a great plant. It has these beautiful stalk flowers at the top, but you can also use the stalks for jams and jellies and pies and desserts. It's got a lovely tart flavor, but the leaves on a rhubarb, although the stalk is edible, the leaves are not. So the leaves are poisonous. They have a acid in them and you cannot eat them. Over here is my herb spiral, which is kind of collapsed since last year, but I wanted to show it to you because in the middle, in that purple flower that's growing, that is a huge sage plant. And then the tall stalks that you see growing up with the little flower heads at the top, it's all green. That is actually parsley. And then in the foreground, I have some oregano growing, but there's also strawberries intermixed in there. So I need to get in there and weed really badly. But part of the thing with dandelions, like you see a lot of dandelions in my yard, there are a lot of dandelions because I actually use them, I pull them, and dandelions are good to eat, but they're also, the chickens love them. So I pull out the green leaves and I give them to the chickens all the time. Well, that's it from my yard. Hope you have a great summer. Thank you for joining us for Tales from My Mini Farm. If you like this program, visit the Washoe County Library website or Facebook page to enjoy more programs and projects this summer. Have a great summer. Thanks, you guys. Bye.